Hello and welcome to Kristi's Cropping and Creating. Happy New Year. It is 2025 and I hope that you all had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year so far. And I wanted to start out by showing you a great thing that Creative Memories has going on starting today, which is January 2nd, and it goes through January 21st, and it's also while supplies last. So you do need to be mindful that sometimes popular things will sell out. But January is typically a month that Creative Memories gives us album specials where if you buy four or more albums, you get to choose an exclusive album for free. So we also have some limited edition album covers. This is the beautiful colors that we have available. I just love all of them. I don't remember the names of all of them, but this is a black that has a sparkle to it, a mica sparkle. Don't remember the name of that one. You know what? I'm just not even going to try. But I really do love the way they all look together on the shelf. And those are also included in the special of buy four, get one free. I'm trying to find my picture of the three limited edition covers that you get to choose from. Is this Flint 2025. It is embossed with 2025. It does have that foiling on the cover, and that color is called Flint. This one is called Green Jubilee, but it also has a shimmer to it. And this one is lilac. It might be called lilac shimmer. I don't know, but it's lilac something, and it's really pretty. So these three would be available January 2nd through January 21st when you purchase four or more albums. You can get just the plain book cloth albums. You can get the albums that do have foiling on it like this. And you can choose from those limited edition colors that I showed you just a few minutes ago. Here is another picture of the book cloth albums. Oh, there we can get the names. So it's turquoise mica, navy gold speck mica, black mica, canary, monarch, I can't say it, monarch, monarch orange, like the butterfly, monarch butterflies. Raspberry rouge and royal purple. So go grab one of those while they are available. And if you do get four or more, you get that free one. We also have custom fold spines, 33% off when you get three or more custom fold spines. So what you can do is you could go ahead and purchase your album, and in that same order, you can even go ahead and order the custom spine that will be embossed with whatever you want it to say, whether it's Winter Wonderland, 50-year anniversary party, first grade with Ben, cruising with Kristi. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something. Um, Cropping with Kristi, hello. And again, this is Kristi's Cropping and Creating. I live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I've been a Creative Memories advisor. This month is my 29th anniversary. I'm so excited to still be doing what I love. And before I get started with the idea that I'm going to teach you today, I'm going to show you this last thing. This is a new collection that's going to be available throughout the year. Last year we had This Life, and each month or every couple of months we would get a new product that perfectly coordinated with This Life. So this year the new collection is Noteworthy Days, and it is a phenomenal collection. It's going to have stickers that are going to be great for the various holidays we have throughout the year and many other celebrations. So if you do not yet have an advisor that you're working with, I would love to help you. You can place an order at my website, creativememories.com/user/KRISTIBOLIN. If you need to email me for any reason, please do so at kristibolin@gmail.com. And if you want to participate in my weekly classes that I do over Zoom, they are on Wednesdays at 7:30. They are recorded. If you can't watch live, you can always come back and watch it later. But when you email me, ask me about Kristi's Croppers subscription group. It's really fun. We have a great group and we love meeting each week and working on various things. And it's really inexpensive to be part of that as well. Now, I do not have a sample to show you. So this is going to be creating as I go. But I thought of this idea a few weeks ago and I never got to come back. Unfortunately, I had a couple of weeks break because of family being here and just other commitments with Christmas and the holidays. But I want to make essentially like some arrows that point in on the page, and it is going to be a double page spread. This baby blue cardstock is going to be my background, and I am using papers from two different collections. However, I will be honest and tell you that I'm only using this little bit from Polar, what was it called? Polar Ice, maybe? Oh no, I don't remember the name of it. It was from 2 or maybe even 3 years ago, whatever the name of the Polar something collection was. This scrap was laying out, and then I have these pieces of scraps from our new Flurry of Fun collection, and I may be able to use the backs of these as well. And I have these pieces of solid color cardstock that we're laying out. And so I'm just going to make a bunch of arrows, two different widths, maybe three different widths, and just start playing with this to see how it goes. It may be boring to watch this class, but I'm hoping that it will be fun and you will enjoy it and you will try it out and show me your finished layouts if you do try it. And please do like and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue to do some videos each week. Okay, now these pieces are already cut. And we're going to be doing different lengths in this. So I don't need to shorten this. I'm not worried about the fact that this one is uneven on the bottom because when I put it down on my page, I can cut off the end of it once I see where it's going to go on the layout. But I do need to know how wide these pieces are. Don't need to know how long they are, but I need to know how wide they are because, oh, that one's not even either. Um, I, I'm thinking that the widest I'm going to want to do is 2 inches, maybe even just 1 3/4. And then, let's see, this piece is, this piece is not quite 2 inches wide. Let me trim this one down to 1 3/4. I just thought of something. Or I could make this one 3/4. So this one's 3/4. That leaves me with almost, it's not quite 1 1/4. I think this piece is not cut straight because part of it is appearing to be 1 1/4 and part of it is appearing not to be 1 1/4. So let me just make this one, just go ahead and trim it down to 1 inch. And then that way I will have a number I can work with. Oops. I got to hold it straight as I try to close the arm on my trimmer. When you have issues like that, you can always use an old mat and put a little bit of repositionable adhesive on the on the bottom of your mat, and that will help you in holding things still. All right, so I'm going to cut this at 1.5. We're really not going to need a tremendous amount of these. I'm wanting to think I figured out we will probably need about 8 strips, and I don't remember if it was 8 per page or if it was 8. Yeah, it was 8 per page. So this is about an inch. Let me do another one of these. I'm going to do this one at 1 3/4. Got another one of this blue. Let's see. I'll do it at 1 1/4. And then I'm going to start cutting some of the printed papers. Now, if you have a paper that is directional, you're, well, it's not impossible to use it, but you're going to want to be careful. Like, for instance, these polar bears that are on the other side and the igloos and stuff. My design, depending on where this arrow ends up laying on the layout, it may be that these polar bears would end up like really sideways or something like that. So I don't know that a directional paper is going to be the greatest use of this unless you're really careful about where you put it. But I think this triangle looking side will be perfectly fine. So I'm going to cut this one at 1 inch. I'm only going to do one of it, and I'm going to do one of each of these. And again, I'm going to vary the lengths, excuse me, the widths of what I'm cutting. Now, this is one that I could use either side, and I'm not sure yet which side I will use, but we'll figure that out in a minute anyway. I've already forgotten. What did I cut that at? I cut it at 1.5. And cut this one at 1 3/4. What's the back of this one look like? Oh, this is the snowdrift. So I'm gonna cut it from this side instead of from that side because I might want to use the really heavy blanket of snow on another layout. So again, I'm gonna cut this one at 1 3/4. I can't get my paper to line up here. I'm pretty sure I just have this last color to cut. Now, for me, I don't mind the stripes going horizontal. If you want them to go vertically, of course, you would have needed to, I would have needed to cut my piece that I had already cut off of this with it already going vertical so that I would still have the 12 inch. Or I guess in this case, since I know I'm not going to use a full 12-inch piece, I could cut into it this way. However, then I would never be able to have a 12-inch strip again. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it like this. And I did one at 1.5, one at 1 3/4. I'll go back to 1 1/4 for this one. I'm thinking that it probably is fine to have, well, I know it's fine to have some that are wider and some that are not. But when you're going to need to know how wide they are is when you're ready to make these arrows. Um, so I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm going to pull my papers up here on my mat, but I'm also going to use my zero centering ruler to find the center of these pieces because I need to make it into an arrow. And I think the easiest way to do this will be to mark the center, and then from there I can um I can it's hard for me to think and talk at the same time sometimes. After I mark the center, I can turn it the end of it into an arrow. Okay, so I'm confusing myself. This one was 1.5, so 3/4 would be the center mark, and that should be what's going on here. Okay, there we go. Whoops, and then I moved it right when I was ready to mark it. If you do not have a zero centering ruler, you know what? I'm not sure that they're available on our website, but they should be. And so you can go and grab one on the website. Now, what is half of 3/4? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that would be 6 little ticks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be 6/16. That doesn't make sense. Maybe it is. I'm not good with fractions and numbers and all of those technical things, so I like to just have easy numbers to work with. But there are fraction guides, and I do have a fraction guide on my trimmer from my Creative Cafe International classes that I've taken. But when I'm just trying to hurry it along, I just want to like get it done quick. This is the one that seems like it's this one and one of the other ones, it's slightly wider than 1 3/4. Right, hopefully I'll have some easy numbers here. This piece, I believe this is Island Waters. It was just laying there in my scrap bin, so that made it easy to pull it out because it more closely matches this polar whatever that collection was called. Sorry, y'all, when I don't know the technical names, but and I am using the zero on this zero centering ruler to make my marks. I'm not using the mat, even though I have it laying on the mat. So just so you know that I am trying to do this the right way, and you are certainly welcome to fast forward through this if you don't want to watch me make all these marks. I would love, I'm going to learn sometime this year, I'm going to learn more features of how to do my filming so that I can do some fast forwards and things like that, and you guys not have to watch and fast forward on your own. In the meantime, thank you for watching. All right, now I just have these. This is going to be way more than enough, but I would rather have enough to start with than to have to come back later. And plus, I may need to pull some, change up some of the colors. And so that way, if I have lots of options, it will work out. All right, so this one is 1 1/4, which means This dark paper is a little bit hard to see. So even though I want to use that dark side, I'm going to flip it to this side to make my mark so that it'll be easier to see my mark when I'm finished. You could probably make your arrows faster instead of marking each piece the way I'm doing. You could probably do it by gently folding it and then um cut it like, like you would do a ribbon. I don't know what the right terms are that I'm looking for, but you know how you fold something and you cut across with your scissors? You could probably do that a little bit faster, but I wanted to be a little more accurate in getting this correct, and then I'm really not a big fan of the dog ears on my papers either, quite honestly. So, all right, I'm going to take that mark and I'm going to lay it on my cut line, and I am going to, all right, let me think. How did I figure? Oh, I'm going to use the 45-degree angle, but I'm going to have the little mark that I made at the center of the paper on the cut line. So I'll know that I'm going the same angle because I'm using the 45-degree angle here. And I'm just going to cut up to the top, and then I will flip it, and I can put the point that I just made on the cut line and go up to the top. And now I have my arrow. So I'm going to repeat this until I get it ready to go. Get all my pieces ready to go, at least one of them from each color. And then as I'm cutting them off, I can decide from there if I need to do more. I'm going to have plenty to choose from this stack though, so that will make it easier. I just remembered that I can pause the video and then come back. And so that will help shorten this. So I think that's what I'm going to do while I finish cutting these pieces. And then y'all don't have to watch each one of them. So hang tight. Okay, I have finished all of my trimming. Here's my scraps. And for those of you that know that I am a hoarder, paper hoarder, I am not going to save them. I'm going to throw them away. So I'm throwing them away. Don't need those. And I'm going to get my second mat out so that I can lay out my base pieces and get ready to start doing this. Now I'm just going to put them in the center right here, meeting in the middle of the mat. And I'm just going to start going in at various angles, and with what I honestly want to do is I want to mix some solid papers in with the printed papers, and some of them I want to come in further. Most of them I'm going to want to stay further back because I am all about getting a lot of pictures on the page. So I would rather have more pictures and there be less decoration than a lot of decoration and a little bit of pictures. Now I can go across a corner like this because I'm going to be trimming off the edge, from the back. So it's just a matter of if I want to do that or not, but I can. I'm trying not to put all the prints immediately next to each other. Also got too much stuff here on my space, my workspace. All right, and this color or this side, I can use that, but I really don't like how that's blending in so much. Plus, I cut it to go with this plaid side so that it pulls out that red stripe that's also in this paper, and then of course the cranberry paper as well. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish putting some of these down. I've got too much over here and not enough over here, and then I've only got left these solids right now, but I can fix that in a minute because I'm going to start cutting some lengths. All right, now I don't necessarily like the um the way I'm getting this layout, but I can always fix it by just putting a few down at a time, trim the pieces off the edge so that then I can go back and use these pieces, especially like the printed papers, what's left of those lengths to fill in some of this space. So I'm going to pause this again, and I'm going to start doing some adhering and trimming, and then I'll turn them back into arrows, and then I will see you back in a few minutes. Okay, I think I have the layout that I want. I have already stuck down everything on this left side. I did this piece in the center, and let me tell you, I'm not sure that I'll ever do that again because it meant I had to cut down the middle of my arrow, which, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I was afraid I was going to miss and not quite cut properly. I did use my trimmer to cut down the center, and these pieces around the edge, I just use my scissors by flipping it to the back. I'm sure y'all have done this before or something like this. I will also tell you as I'm cutting that I learned that if I would put my adhesive on the back, and I do mostly use repositionable adhesive, but if I would put the adhesive on the back, and then as I'm sticking it to the edge of the paper, since some of them, let's see, how can I explain this? It's I'm cutting it at an angle. So if I'll lift that piece and put adhesive directly on the cardstock at the edge, that's going to help me get a cleaner cut as I'm cutting across. See, I just made that one lift a little bit, but hopefully, oh my goodness, I got too many long pieces on this end. Let me take care of some of this and then I'll go back to that. But it does work to have the paper or the cardstock stuck directly to the base so that as you're cutting from the back, you get a cleaner cut. And you don't end up making it too big or worse, too small. You can fix it if it's too big. It's hard to fix if it's too small because then you would pretty much have to figure out a way to piece it back together, or you would have to start all over from that piece. See, that one's a little too thick. I don't know if you can see that or not, but if it's going to cause me issues, I will come back and retrim that. My last one, oh, that cranberry one right there is also a little bit too large. See, here's the problem. It's like sometimes they just don't want to stay. It's hard to hold and trim at the same time. So in this case, I trimmed it from the front. All right, let me move my scraps out of the way. Try to move my scraps out of the way, and we're going to see what we have. My goodness, I can't get my fingers to work. So here is what's finished. And I am getting the effect that I thought I was going to get. However, because I don't want to cover up my points, oh, I've got some pencil marks on some of these to erase because I did mark it on the same side that I ended up adhering down, which that's where a high polymer eraser comes in handy because it allows you to completely erase and you won't see any of those marks again. But what's going to happen with this, I envisioned, doing multiple size pictures on the page like I normally would, some 4x6s, some 4x4s. But I think what's going to happen is so that I don't end up covering up too many of these tips of these arrows, I'm going to either need to do smaller photos, like these 3.5x5s are going to work somewhat. Let me go back to 4x4s, see what will happen. Yeah, yeah, this can work. And then I would only cover some of the points over here on the ends. But if I did like a whole row of 3.5x5s, I would be covering this point, so forth, so on. I'd cover that one and that one. So I think I want to mix it up with just 3.5x5s and 4x4s, or even 4x6s and 4x4s. And if y'all know me, I do not, I guess I should not say never, but I don't create layouts for just 2 pictures on a page. That's just not me. Now, I guess if you had an occasion where you've only got a few pictures, it could be a special occasion, or like since this is winter paper, let's say that, South Carolina, we hardly get any snow. So maybe I would only have 4 pictures of our snow. And granted, I would come back in with embellishments and go somewhere along the edge with some different embellishments. Probably a title cluster down here. I'm sure there are other ways that you can embellish this too, but you know what else it makes me think of? Um, when you take old men's ties and you arrange them in a quilt, or for that matter just a layout in general. So this could be a fun way to do a Father's Day tribute or a memory tribute of a special man in your life that has maybe passed away. So anyway, this is what I was going for, and I hope that y'all enjoyed it, even though I'm sure it was kind of boring watching me cut all of those points and measure all of those points for those arrows. But y'all have a great rest of your week. I am happy to be back with my Kristi's Cropping and Creating videos, and I hope that you will continue to watch me through 2025 and help me grow my membership subscriptions to the page. I don't really know what the right terminology is, but y'all probably know what I'm talking about. So have a great one, and I will see you next week. And if you have a suggestion for something you would like for me to create, do not hesitate to email me at kristibolin@gmail.com. Watch the beginning of the video for the correct spelling of my name. And y'all take care. I will see you next week. Happy cropping.